So I barely show my face at all in my videos, but today I think it's a good idea because I'm going to be showing how I make my Ōkami HD definitive playthrough, because I think after episode 1, 2, or maybe 3, I thought it was a good idea to say, hey, this is how I make this and how I make that. So I'm going to be going over how I do my footage capture. I'm going to be talking about how I do my narrations, my voiceovers, and how I edit them together and make them look the way they look. So with that being said, let's get started. And also really quick, I do recommend making notes for when you edit, because this is the criteria for episode 1. So what I'm going to do is for each episode, I'm just going to make this redundant and have all the steps. This is the font size, the start times, my transition length, my time codes. So that is everything. That's just to avoid episode 1 sounding a certain way, and episode 2 sounding a little bit louder, and then episode 3 sounding quieter, because that's not what I want. I want every episode sounding almost or exactly the same, and I say that with a reasoning because I think consistency is very important when it comes to editing your videos. So I'm just going to say right now that I am the voice of Waka, I'm the voice of Amaterasu, even though she barely talks. I'm the voice of Isun, Sakya, Susanoo, Orochi, everybody, even the Spider Queen. Every character that you've seen thus far, I've done the voices for, and I'm going to show how that is done, step by step. So here I'm going to be talking about the equipment that I used to make this series. First things first, I have some capture material sitting right there. There is a couple of ways that I can get my footages, but I'll be showing that later on in this video. There is a PlayStation 4 that I used to play on. The controller here is the same color as the one that's in my profile picture, because this was drawn by my best friend's spouse. Credit goes to her in the description. I have a laptop that I use to do my edits on and my narrations with. I have a TV that is sitting very comfortably in front of me and my cousin when we record. The funny thing about this mic stand is that I actually have a clamp that goes on the bottom of this. But for whatever reason, I cannot seem to find it at this very moment because I'm too lazy to even look. I just know that it's probably somewhere in my bedroom, but right now I don't feel like looking for it, and I probably won't feel like looking for it for the next 3 months. Anyway, just kidding, I'll find it at some point. But for now, I'm using a piece of wood that I drilled a hole into, along with these dumbbells that are just weighing it down, because this microphone is pretty heavy. And I also have those because I like to party, but anyway. Pens, pencils, erasers, stuff that I make my notes with, Cards Against Humanity, and I also have my Pink Floyd CDs because I am a music fan. And yeah, that is about it. And these are the chairs that me and my cousin sit in front of when we record, and that's pretty much about it. With that being said, here's how I gather my footage. Now, again, there are 2 ways to do this. You can either use an external video capture device, or use the PlayStation 4's built-in capture card. The difference is that if you use the external one, once you reach 50 minutes of recording, it will automatically start recording the next footage clip. So for example, if you have 30 minutes of footage, that'll be 2 50-minute videos. If you have an hour of footage, that'll be 4 50-minute videos. Kind of complicating, but I usually use this capture card if I record smaller videos. Now, if I use the built-in capture card on the PS4, I'll be showing you how to do this instead. It actually won't start recording the next clip until you reach an hour. I'll show you how to set that up. So first, I'll say this. Your PS4 will not have 60 minutes of video length as a default preset. You'll have to go into the settings and set that up yourself. Now, don't freak out and say, Alex, you didn't show me how to do that. I'll show you right now, I got you covered. To do that, when you first turn your PS4 on, you'll need to go to your settings, sharing and broadcasts, and you'll want to go to the length of video clip. You can choose to have it set from 30 seconds. I don't know why you'd want to have it set that short, but if you want an hour for all the free time you want, just select 60 minutes and you're good to go. I've seen some YouTube tutorials explaining how to record without even mentioning that you can preset your own video lengths. So I'm pointing that out here so you don't have to click off this video and go and Google it. So there you go. Now here's how I record. First off, I make sure that I'm in the game that I want to record. Once you're ready, all you have to do is press the share button on the top left of the controller twice. When you do that, you'll see an icon appear up here. That means you are officially recording. When you're done, all you have to do is press the same share button again once. Then you'll see a menu come up. Then you can press square and your video clip is saved. When you want to retrieve your footage, make sure that you have a flash drive with enough space plugged into your PS4. Then what you'll have to do is go to your PS4's main menu and head to your library all the way to the right. From there, click on your capture gallery, hit the All folder, and then go to Video Clips. And there you will see your video that you just recorded. Now to get this on your flash drive, hover over it, press the Options button on the top right of your controller, then press Copy to USB storage device. From there, you can just press X until it starts a loading meter. It is officially copying to your flash drive, and you can just wait for it to be done. Now I will show you how to extract the footage to your computer. So now that you have your flash drive in your computer, you can go ahead and open up your File Explorer and look for the drive. Also, if you right-click on your flash drive and select Properties, you can see how much free space you have. I'm using a small flash drive. As you can see, I have like about a gig left. But go ahead and look for the folder that says PS4, Share, Video Clips, and you can see the folder for the game you recorded. In this instance, I recorded Fall Guys, and here's the video clip. You can also rename this if you like, so it gives you a better idea of what to look for when your editing time comes. But I'm not going to do that here because this is just an example. And of course, after about a second or two after pressing record footage on the controller, I start recording my Audacity voice file and then sync it up later. So that's awesome, but now we can go ahead and open up this video file and we can see that it looks pretty good. Awesome, now we can get on to editing. So now I will show you how I do my voiceovers. So if I'm just doing regular commentary, I usually just wait a few seconds before I start talking. This is in case I need to remove any background noise. And you can do that by selecting this empty space. Let's just pretend this is background noise here. Going up to Effects, Noise Reduction, and Get Noise Profile. What I just did there was tell Audacity what I think counts as background noise, and the program just says, okay, got it. So what you want to do now is select the entire thing. You can do that by clicking right here in this open space. Now that you've done that, you can go over to Effects, Noise Reduction again, and then click OK. And that'll pretty much isolate whatever background noise the track has. Also, I recommend snipping off this excess waiting time right here in the beginning by just selecting that and hitting Ctrl X. You can also do the end if you like to, just to make the track look a bit more uniformed and all. And once you're done, you can basically just export this. I like to export my audio files as WAV files because I think that's just the best format to have for editing pretty much. And then you can save it wherever you like, and then you're good to go. So now I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how I narrate characters. I won't do each and every character because if I were to sit here and do that, I would pretty much run out of time. I'm going to show you how I edit voices of a couple of evil characters like Orochi and the Spider Queen. These are a little more complex than just regular characters like Waka or Isun. But hey, you can go ahead and play around with this stuff yourself and see what settings and preferences work for you. By the way, if you're wondering how I read the text from these characters, I usually just have their quotes typed up in Notepad. And in between recording sessions, I usually go and drink sips of water just to refresh my throat, because talking for long periods of time, like I am right now, starts to hurt. It really hurts. And it makes me incredibly thirsty, so that's just the kind of person I am. But with that being said, here is something that I feel Orochi would say in the game. This is just a raw, unedited clip of me talking, so here we go. My name is Orochi, and due to the removal of Tsukiyomi, I have returned to the Moon Cave and yet terrorized the entire land of Nippon. Yeah, sounds pretty Orochi, right? Alright, awesome. Alright, so now that I have this, let's go ahead and copy this track with Ctrl-C and replicate it. I do this by going up to Tracks, Add New, and Stereo Track, because I use stereo for this, obviously. Then I go ahead and paste it. So these two are the same track, and the reason I do this for evil characters is because I feel that in real life their voices would sound a bit raspy and ominous. So I'm trying to create a sense of realism here, if that makes sense. And then I add a reverb to both of these by selecting each one individually, by the way. Going to Effect and Reverb, and then hit OK. I do this to both of the tracks because they both need reverb. And honestly, I just keep the defaults here the same because I already like the way that it sounds to begin with. Next, we're going to do some pitch changes. Yes, we're doing a pitch changes. And the one thing I'll say about this is that you do not want to keep each pitch the same. I'll show you why in a minute. Therefore, Orochi, the pitch for the top track would be -5, let's say. And the bottom one would be -12. With that being done, let's have a listen.
My name is Orochi, and due to the removal of Tsukiyomi, I have returned to the Moon Cave and yet terrorized the entire land of Nippon.
Sounds pretty demonic, right? Awesome. Alright, and that is pretty much how I do my voice for Orochi. Now, time for the Spider Queen. This is a female character. How do I know that? Well, I literally just said it. Anyway, so we're basically doing the same steps for Orochi, but we're doing the positive values for the pitches this time, because if you want a masculine sounding effect, go into the negatives. This is a regular sound clip of me talking. Let's have a listen. Dog is not usually on my menu, but I shall make you an exception. Yeah, that is a direct quote from the Spider Queen from the game, so go watch episode 6 if you want to get my meaning. We're going to add some reverb to both of these tracks, making one of them 5 and the other one 15. Let's have a listen now.
Dog is not usually on my menu, but I shall make you an exception.
Awesome. Sounds really identical to the one I did a few episodes ago. So, now that you get how I do my footage, my commentary, and my voiceovers, now let's get into the guts of the episodes themselves. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I get into the inside of how the videos are made, how I edit them, which is going to be pretty cool, because there's a certain way that I do things. And first of all, I'm just going to show you how, or what kinds of things that I have in my Ōkami HD bucket supply. I like to call it. Well, I have quite a few folders here. Sorry. I have an all materials folder, which is future episodes that I have to record. I've basically gotten there. I'm not gonna obviously show what happened or any spoilers or anything. This is episode 16. It's kind of old. This is episode 17. This is the recent video that I did, or that I edited and uploaded. That is episode 18. That's gonna come on later. And of course, I have a thumbnails folder, which has every thumbnail of each video that I made so far, which is nice. I have some music that I like to put in the intro or the recaps that I make, if I do make one, because again, not every episode has one. But I'm going to show you just in a moment an episode that has a recap, so I can show you how that's made, and I'll explain why I make recaps to begin with. Then I have Axiom or Chris's profile picture for an outro, the logo for the intros or recaps, that is, my profile picture, and this is like a link whip sound for like a censoring an F-bomb thing. I really know that F-bombs these days are just harmless, but in this series, just for the sake of it, I just feel like doing it, so don't ask why. I'll even play it here. Yeah, not even half a second long. It's from Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask of Link whipping his horse when he goes faster. This is an audio file that I'm going to use later on. This is a cover by somebody that I found on YouTube. His name is Furtick, and that's his username on YouTube. He did a cover of The Rising Sun, which is a pretty good song in Ōkami. Normally, I would put outro songs of the final place that is shown in the episodes that I do. So, for example, if I'm in Ryushima Coast, and the theme is Ryushima Coast, I put that theme in the outro as the outro theme. But if I feel like in a way that if I can't find or a song, or if it doesn't even exist on YouTube, I put this one because it's a pretty good song. And I have a sound collection file or video that's on YouTube as well. And I pick a sound out of this file for text that appears, and I'm going to show that later. This is a picture that I use if I have to censor something that's visual. I don't know why I'd have to do that, but hey, things happen, and it's always good to be prepared. And this is a picture that I use for just one of them. This is like an outro picture. This is Sasa Sanctuary. I'll even open it up. Yeah, I use that in my outros. And this is a video description box or a text file. Episode 17. I type them all here so I can just copy and paste it each time. So I don't have to go back and retype it each time that I upload a video, because it's just wasting a bunch of time. But I'll even go into episode 17, and the reason I'm showing an already edited episode is that I'm not showing any spoilers for a future episode that's going to be uploaded in the future. That is. So in episode 17, in the recap, I had Scion City's Commoner's Quarters theme playing in the recap. And of course, I show the previous episode because in episode 17, I of course have the footage and narration. But I also want to show what happened in the past, an episode behind us. And then we have the guard scene, my speech that I do in the recap, and the previously that I do. When I say previously in Ōkami HD, Isun and Rao dragon scene when they're escaping the sunken ship and they're going back to Ryushima Coast. Isun on the ship, Rao on the ship, because they're two different characters. I like to split their speeches up. Another voice that I did, a picture for the thumbnail. And there was a time that my video failed for this video. This episode failed to upload to YouTube, so I just wanted to keep track of my tags that I made. And of course, I have the sound file from Wooja McGivett, because he did a voiceover for me in this episode. Thank you, dude, again. And And with that being said, let's go into hit film and I'll show you how it's done. So, this is the recap. Sorry, the recap that I made. There's a certain way, I'm very specific with how I space things out. And the whole reason that I choose not to put these tracks at the very, very start of this, at the 0.0 mark, is because in the past when I used Camtasia, when I put things right at this mark, it caused error problems or render problems. And in the past, if it happens with Camtasia, I just felt that it can happen anywhere with any other editing software that I use. So I just choose to do this because it helps in a way. And I leave about a 4 millisecond mark in between the 0 and the start line, where I start the episode. And this is where the music plays.
Previously.
And I do like a fade in, like a zoom for the logo. That's pretty good. And I have my narration here, and everything. And also, let me go back and explain why I have the tracks that I do. I have 3 tracks for audio, which is game sound. And then I have this for commentary, narration, and cutscene narrations. And I have like a 3rd track for little sounds that appear in the background, which is like a sensor noise or a sound that plays when text appears, or like I put like a tip on the screen saying, hey, just in case, blah, 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 and all that. And then I have 5 tracks for video, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, the video and gameplay footage. And then there's a background picture for the outro. My profile picture. Chris's profile picture. A thanks for watching text box. And then the next player text box, which is what I'm going to show later on in this clip. With that out of the way. And I'll show like another previously thing that I did.
She gained her way into the area, but Silent City was completely...
So this is episode 16, and I took some cutscenes from this place, and I put them in black and white, so I make it like kind of visually appealing to like say, hey, this is some history of the past, yada yada. And then I make some, this is the episode, and no, this is the text that I put. Yeah, I wrote these. These are sentences that I came up with, and I put them in the clips where the recap is playing, so I can say what happened in the past. And the reason that I make recaps is so that anybody who stumbles upon the series and they say, hey, I don't feel like watching the previous episode, this is why I make recaps. Like say, hey, a little summarization here, which is cool, and I feel like it helps people in a way. So I have, of course, the text, the video itself, and the intro. And this is when I'm just talking. And I kind of rehearse those lines when I type them in Notepad, and I just read off of them. And then when it comes time to edit, I just time it up and sync it up, which is cool. And then I just keep repeating that until I get to the point where I want to start the episode. And then I say, and the story here continues, and I leave this text going on for a little bit, and then I cut it off and fade it off, and then I fade everything else in. And of course, me and Chris do like a sync up here. I'm not going to show the sync up because this is a completed edit. But I guess if you want, I can probably show that in another video. But anyway, I think syncing things up is kind of second nature at this point, so I didn't really see the need to show that. And of course, I like to fade things in here, which is nice. I fade in the narration, the game sound, and of course the video. Because I feel like if I just don't do that, it looks all choppy and like solid, and I like smooth transitions, which I think is nice looking. And at this bottom, it's kind of hard to explain why I kind of split these things up. It's kind of justifiable here because this is where Wudja did a voiceover for me, and I'm doing a voice of another character in between his, so I just kind of chop them up and sync it up in a way. So that's why it kind of looks like this. And then, of course, I put like a text box here saying, Sentry on the left, voiced by Wudja McGivett. Thanks again, dude, for helping me out. I will definitely let you know if I need you to do another voiceover for me. And if I choose to have somebody else do it, I'll let you know. So yeah, all commentary, all talking speech goes in the bottom audio 2 line. And audio 3 is like a little censor sound. He'll even come across like an F-bomb or something like that where Chris swears. Again, I don't really care if he does this or not. I just choose to have like a kind of G-rated. Actually, no, this is not an F-bomb sensor, but this is a spot where text appears.
Is known as the banded spider.
Yeah, so
I don't know why.
the sound that you just heard when the text appeared is the sound that plays when you upgrade something like your health, your purse, your astral pouch, or your ink pots. And I choose like put that sound when a text thing appears, and I put like a tip up saying there are 3 bandit spiders. They're optional, but we are getting them in this playthrough. There is one here, then one in northern Rishima Coast, and one in Kamui. And I do that from time to time, but I want to like show a spot where I censor one of Chris's F-bombs, which is kind of funny. I don't really care. I don't really care if he curses or anybody curses. I just like choose to have this series kind of G-rated because it's really important to me in a way. I like Ōkami, so I just kind of wanted to have it looking nice and sounding nice. Where he says the F word. Anyway, there are times where I curse too. It's again, I'm like kind of taking a sip of my own medicine here when I do this, but I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, then I want to come across a cutscene where I did a narration. I'm gonna show the one where I did Rao's. Rao, Isin, and Amaterasu going back. They're escaping the sunken ship and they're going back to shore.
I mean, what'd you expect, babe? Ami's a wolf, not a speedboat.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, when I'm actually doing these narrations for these cutscenes, when I have my Audacity going, I'm actually watching this scene in my editor. So I can time up the sound audio and sync it up in editing later, which kind of helps me so it doesn't have to force me to split up my text and like split the file up, and like here I'll even show it, so I don't have to go and move this around or anything, move these around at all. So I just choose to have them all confined into one space, so it just takes less editing time, and I just keep doing that and just keep repeating this process until the episode is complete. And here I'll even show how an outro is made. I like to have the music playing before the gameplay screen zooms out or crossfades like this. I like to put like a zoom effect at the end because I think it looks cool.
Fine, wait, I'm not even doing an intro. Subscribe, like, comment, or anything else. Peace out, everyone.
And then I have like just when that music kicks in, it kicks in as soon as the outro screen appears because I think it looks and sounds cool. These are ideas that I came up with, so I just choose to have them consistent, and I kind of push them in like really fast here, like everything. This is the text for the next player. This is the text for thanks for watching. My profile or Chris's profile photo, my profile photo, and then the background photo, and I all fade this in at the same time, and again. The outro song all depends on the last place that you're in when I end the episode. And if I feel like I really can't find the track or find it on YouTube or whatever, I just choose to have Ferdic's cover playing in the background. Again, he did a really good job, so I credit him for that. It's a pretty good song in this game too. I'm not going to say where it plays because it's a pretty good song. And I fade everything else out, and it's good to go. And again, it takes me hours to edit these things, because again, I work late at night at about 10 o'clock to 2 a.m. It takes me like so long to edit these things, and it takes me so long to find time to do them, which is like kind of why I space them out in upload times. Anyway, but I guess that's about it, and thanks for watching this video where I show how I do my footage capture, my narrations, my commentary, and of course my edits. This is really kind of taking a back burner on this series for me, so I just wanted to show how it's made, like the behind the scenes and how the magic is done, which I think is cool. So anyway, with that being said, I hope everybody had a safe and cozy Christmas. Hope everybody has a lovely New Year, and everybody stays safe. With that being said, subscribe, like, comment, or anything else. Hope you enjoyed, and peace out, everyone.